Hello, beautiful, vibrant souls. I am so grateful that this video has crossed your timeline today. We're going to pull a few cards for the collective, but we're going to do some short reads. If you are looking for personal in-depth reading, please feel free to reach out to me. I do these in a private, confidential, in-depth video that is on a sliding scale, so it always fits within your budget. See what we have here today. We're going to pull that Queen of Cups. She is important. She is trying to establish the kind of relationships that do not drain her, the kind that are meaningful and have some purpose to them. And she's a loving person, and there are so many people that are drawn to her. Her energy is just incredibly magnetic, and it can be a lot. It can be a lot to be that type of a person if you're finding yourself exhausted in the company of those who just don't seem to quite. It's not that they don't get you; it's that they're doesn't matter to them. But you're looking for substance. You're looking for connections that matter. And if it's not gonna matter, if it's not a connection of substance, you're just not in a hurry. You're fine where you're at. You're totally cool with this. We've got a 7 of discs. So coming into a little bit of a challenge is this is a hiccup. This isn't a big, when we're in the process of rebuilding and we're trying to establish ourselves and we're focused and goal oriented, we are bound to encounter things that do not turn out the way that we hoped. It is up to us how we respond to that. If we focus purely on the things that are going wrong, we are going to draw even more challenges our way just to test our resolve. How badly did you want that? But if we instead say, okay, well, that's fine. I mean, I still know what I want. I'm still working towards it. There's going to be some issues that are bound to come up, and I am going to overcome all of them because I know I'm capable of that. Um, you know that in these in the context of these difficulties that where you're spending your time makes a big difference. That's why that Queen of Cups is there. So we really don't have time and energy to be focused on things that just, it's not necessarily that you have to pretend, but that there just isn't any depth to it. It's just kind of like a very superficial connection, and you don't see any really future potential to it. I think they're just more curious and bored, and you seem like something interesting to take up their attention. That's fine. You just don't have time or energy for that right now. We have our Hangman again. This card's been coming up a lot because this is about recognizing when we need to recuperate, when we need to recover. And if you are very goal oriented right now and you are focusing on all things, getting things handled, addressing things, you kind of enjoy that solitude right now. That time to rejuvenate yourself, the quiet, the peace is really, really, really important to you. There is a sense of understanding and knowing what's next, but also just kind of taking some time before we dive in. There's a lot that you have to do, and so it's important that you pace yourself. This is all about balance and maintaining of that balance. Hope that helps. I've been seeing this picture, or I'm sorry, I've been seeing this card come up quite a bit recently, and it follows right along with the cards that we just pulled. This is about transition, about being in that process of from one phase to another phase. Um, there is a great deal of steps that are taken. There are ups and downs that we have to pay attention to. But ultimately, this is a process of transforming our lives. And, nobody will ever say that it's easy, and no one will ever say that that happens overnight. It's not some miraculous thing in most cases where, You just wake up and you have all the life that you've always wanted. Most of us, it's a process of organizing and planning and clearing out the clutter and then reorganizing and planning some more and then taking a few steps forward and there's a few steps back. And it's this long period of time. If you've ever been on a weight loss journey or any kind of a fitness journey, you know that there are ups and downs and cycles along the process for this. You don't just all of a sudden lose 150 pounds. You lose 2 pounds, you lose 3 pounds, you gain a pound and a half back, you lose another pound and a half, then you lose a pound and a half, then you lose 3 pounds, then you gain 2 pounds back. It's a process, and there's a lot of figuring things out along the way. You also have to pay attention to your mood cycles. There's energy cycles that we're dealing with. It's all a process that it can be very easy to get discouraged if you don't expect that this progress isn't linear. It's actually kind of chaotic. And if you were just to kind of look at the process and the pathway without having any knowledge, you would think it looks like a mess. But when we are able to look back at the paved path that we just took, it makes sense to us. Down the road, when you look back, it will make sense. What you're going through is worthwhile. And while it's a lot of work and while it's exhausting and while it feels as though there's this big confusing phase that occurs periodically where you're not entirely sure what's going on, you're just kind of doing your best in the moment. Rest assured that these are just periods and paths, and you are ultimately in alignment with that transformation that you've been seeking. This wonders card has come up to remind us that there are tiny, beautiful, amazing miracles that do happen every day. They happen in the smallest ways. They're in these little synchronicities. It's in the blossoming of a flower. It's in the shimmer of a dewdrop. Sometimes it's just in the moment where you hear the laughter of a child, or you see someone you care about crack a smile, or you hear just the right words that you needed to hear to get you through the day. There's a lot that we endure that we have no time to process. We have to kind of rush through the day to day. Every morning I wake up and I get ready and I go to class, and there's this brief moment that I look forward to where I'm just about ready and I'm putting all my stuff together, and my dog just kind of looks up at me like, "You're not going to forget me, right?" And she needs me to stop for just a moment and make sure that I give her little kisses on the top of her head and tell her that she's a very good girl. It's literally 30 seconds of my day, but that 30 seconds sets the mood, right? It's these wonders that we find. There's a moment where every morning I park my car, and when I initially park the car and I get everything situated, of course, I'm not paying attention, but I like to take just a few moments to breathe very deeply before I get out and actually head into the building. And I noticed this morning that there was just the most wonderful song. Like, just so many birds were singing all at the same time. It was the most beautiful sound I'd ever heard. And I was like, that's the sound that spring is here. These birds are angry that it's cold today. And I got out of the car and they were in the tree right above me. And it was just a tree full of birds, and the moonlight was behind them. And it was just a gorgeous sight. I had to just take that moment to appreciate the wonder that exists around us. It's a beautiful life, and we have to give ourselves permission to just take these moments in. These are the things that really make it all worthwhile. Now, granted, there's a lot that you're trying to accomplish, and you're going to look back someday and you're going to say, look at all that I did. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't appreciate the tiny little things that we get every single day. When you sit down with that cup of coffee, Enjoy that first sip. Just give yourself permission to take it all in and just be like, that is a good cup of coffee. When you drink that big old fresh cold bottle of water, whatever it is that you do, when you take a moment for yourself, when you nourish yourself, when you nourish your mind, you take a moment just to take some deep breaths before you move to the next thing. Find something amazing to be inspired by. Find something beautiful in that moment. Find something that is just extraordinary in that moment. Because it's in those tiny little moments that we experience that sense of wonder. And that's really what gives us purpose and keeps us motivated and keeps us going every day. The big things are good, but it's the presence in right now that's going to help you when you're struggling the most. It's those little things. I hope this helps you. I'm always appreciative of hearing from you on your journey and sharing this journey with you. Our healing experiences are connected. We are sharing a very beautiful existence together, and I am very grateful for it. Thank you so much for joining me.